In today's video, we cover an intense situation involving a college student who found herself in a tough spot after not following a police warning. The incident quickly escalated, leading to an emotional exchange with the officers. Let's dive into the details. It all started when the student, who we'll call Eva, attempted to attend a concert with a friend. Despite the excitement of the night, things took a wrong turn when Eva and her friend were denied entry due to their state of sobriety.
How are you guys? Hey, you're not going to be let into the concert tonight because you're a little bit too intoxicated, because you've had a little bit too much to drink.
We have tickets.
Hold on. It doesn't matter. They've already told us they're not going to allow you in regardless of your ticket.
Why?
The officers had already warned them twice not to return. Unfortunately, they did, and that's when the situation escalated.
Did you guys not understand what we talked about? No, you're not. Well, listen to me. Listen to me. This is not up for debate. You two are not welcome inside.
Just drink a bunch of
Go
water.
home. Go home or go to jail. Those are your two choices. If you try to come inside, you're going to jail. We've talked about this.
As the officers moved in to arrest Eva for trespassing, emotions ran high. She insisted that she didn't understand the seriousness of the warning, believing that after getting food and water, she was in a better condition to attend the concert. However, the officers were clear. They had given her multiple chances, and now, she was under arrest for failing to comply.
She's been told twice you're not welcome inside. This is your third time trying to get in. Listen to me. Stop. Stop. Under arrest now. Do you understand?
We're here for our friends. We're here for
Nope, you're going to jail.
Eva, clearly distressed, began to panic. In tears, she explained her strict upbringing. Her parents, immigrants from Eastern Europe, were extremely demanding, and the thought of them finding out about her arrest left her terrified. Throughout the interaction, she repeatedly expressed fear of her parents' reaction, explaining that they wouldn't understand, and that this situation would deeply impact her family. The officers, however, stayed firm. One officer explained that her arrest was the consequence of her action.
Thank you for cooperating with us. My parents are immigrants. They're gonna kill me.
Returning to the concert after being warned. Despite her emotional pleas, the officer calmly stated, "You can't be mad at me for your decisions. These are the consequences of your actions." In an attempt to manage her panic, the officers encouraged Eva to take deep breaths and assured her that while her parents may be upset, they would still love her at the end of the day. However, Eva continued to insist that her situation was different, emphasizing her strict upbringing and the immense pressure she felt from her family.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
My parents are first-year immigrants from
where?
Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. You probably don't know where that is. It's near Russia. My parents are very strict. My mom, she's very, very strict. I don't want to talk about it.
Throughout the arrest, Eva's emotions fluctuated between panic and desperation. She also questioned why she hadn't been read her Miranda rights, showing confusion about the legal process. The officer clarified that Miranda rights aren't always immediately required during an arrest unless questioning takes place. Despite her attempts to reason with the officers, the situation had already reached its tipping point. Eva's emotional appeals, though heart-wrenching, couldn't change the outcome. She was escorted to the police car, still pleading for understanding. Eva's fear of disappointing her family, combined with the consequences of her actions, led to an intense and emotional situation. Ultimately, this serves as a reminder of the importance of understanding the consequences of our choices and listening to warnings, especially in tense or high-stakes situations. As of the making of this video, we have learned that all charges against Eva were dismissed. While this may bring some relief, it's clear that the emotional weight of the incident remains significant for her.
What is there to explain?
In a recent video circulating online, a routine traffic stop escalated into a heated exchange between a driver and law enforcement. The driver, seemingly distressed, engages in a tense back and forth with the officer, leading to confusion and raised tensions. It all begins with a relatively calm exchange. The officer pulls over a driver for speeding in a 35 miles per hour zone, noting that the driver was traveling much faster. When asked if she had been drinking, the driver insists she hasn't had anything to drink, even offering to provide her ID.
Have we had anything to drink today?
No.
No.
Our ex just left us. He's actually like en route.
Huh?
Our ex-boyfriend.
Okay. Your ex?
Kind of.
However, the interaction quickly takes a more confrontational turn. The driver seems flustered, mentioning multiple personal issues, including a recent incident with her boyfriend. She explains that her partner had left the car earlier, which may explain her emotional state. As she continues, the driver brings up various family matters and insists she's under a lot of stress.
Do you want to call Katie? You want me to call Kevin? Or Tammy?
4113.
No, excuse me. Pardon me. I'm calling Diane Quinn. Actually,
I don't care who you're calling. Come on.
Despite the driver's insistence that she hasn't been drinking, the officer notes signs of potential intoxication, citing her slurred speech and erratic behavior. The driver, however, pushes back, claiming her behavior is due to personal stress rather than alcohol consumption. She becomes defensive, stating that she is a nursing student and dealing with significant family problems, including her children being taken by her ex.
I'm also in school for nursing.
4113 switching to.
A child at the time. And my ex took 3 of my kids to Chicago.
4113 Florida deal.
The situation worsens as the driver repeatedly asks to call her family members, including Katie, Kevin, and her grandpa, while the officer tries to focus on the traffic stop. At one point, the officer asks her to step out of the vehicle, and the driver refuses, insisting on smoking a cigarette before complying. When the officer asks if she would perform field sobriety tests, the driver grows increasingly agitated. She offers to do a backflip to prove she is sober, dismissing the officer's request to follow the light with her eyes. As the officer continues to press her on the field sobriety test, she shifts between frustration and non-cooperation, repeatedly asking to contact her family. What started as a simple speeding violation turned into a prolonged and tense interaction, ultimately leading to the driver's arrest. The officer, citing her refusal to comply with sobriety tests and signs of impairment, took the driver into custody. While the full story behind the driver's stress remains unclear, the video serves as a stark reminder of how quickly routine traffic stops can escalate, especially when emotions run high. Let us know what you think about this incident in the comments below. Could this have been handled differently, or was the officer's response justified? In a recently shared video, a routine traffic stop takes an unexpected turn when officers pull over a driver suspected of DUI. The incident begins when the officer explains that the driver had been reported for reckless driving, and her erratic behavior on the road had raised concerns.
She got panties on right there? Yeah, she lifted it up and exposed herself to me, but I'm not going to charge her with that. But
During the exchange, the driver appears confused, giving inconsistent answers about her destination and current location. As the officer notices signs of impairment, such as slurred speech and difficulty maintaining balance, he asks her to step out for field sobriety tests.
You know where you live at?
Yeah, I live off of Stewart Street.
Stewart Street? You need to know where you're at right now?
Yeah, I know I'm at Kentucky.
You know what street you're on?
Yeah.
What street?
Stewart Street?
You're not on Stewart Street. All right, get your license for me.
However, the situation escalates when the driver, while struggling with instructions, unexpectedly lifts her clothes in front of the officer. Despite this inappropriate action, the officer remains calm, choosing not to charge her for the exposure. The sobriety tests continue, but the driver struggles to follow directions, and eventually, she is arrested for DUI. Throughout the ordeal, she repeatedly requests to call her husband, but the officers stay firm, securing her in the patrol car. This video highlights the risks of impaired driving and the unpredictable nature of interactions during traffic stop. In Westlake, Ohio, an unusual case unfolded at 6:30 a.m. when a 30-year-old woman, later identified as Bethany Gosen, called the police on herself after allegedly crashing her car. The bizarre incident happened near Cedar Point, a popular amusement park, where Bethany claimed to have ended up after a series of aimless drives. Bethany, clearly intoxicated, is seen standing beside her car, which had somehow gotten stuck at an odd angle near a loading dock, far from Cedar Point itself. Her car hadn't flipped, but it was resting at a precarious 50-degree tilt.
Drunk and Cedar Point apparently, and apparently my car ended up like this.
Yeah.
And I am drunk.
All right.
And I need to.
She called 911 and said that, "Hi, I'm drunk. My car is like at a weird angle. I think I'm at Cedar Point," she slurred through the phone. The operator, trying to assess the situation, asked if she was injured. "No, just drunk," she responded, admitting that she had no idea how she ended up there. Bethany mentioned she had been fighting with her boyfriend, which led her to hop in the car and go for a random drive.
How did you get back here?
My boyfriend and I were not in a good spot, so I just.
How you doing? Can you give us a little space? We'll come talk to you. Can you give us a little space?
Oh, like a loading dock at a...
I don't know. I just drove and then ended up here, and...
Officers arrived on the scene, struggling to piece together Bethany's story. They conducted field sobriety tests, starting with a simple eye movement test. Bethany, however, had difficulty focusing and following instructions. Despite the officer's patience, it became evident she was heavily intoxicated. "I just need my car to be more on the ground," Bethany said, anxiously hoping for a way out. Bethany's attempts to downplay her condition fell short when officers proceeded with further sobriety tests. Balancing on one leg proved difficult, and her erratic explanations of how she ended up at the scene left little doubt about her impaired state. Ultimately, the officers informed Bethany that she was under arrest for operating a vehicle under the influence.
Stop whatever comes next.
Yeah, you're under arrest for OVI.
But we
Bethany,
just need to know this.
Do you need a purse or your house keys out of the car? Okay, let's go and get you warm, okay?
Please.
Her breathalyzer test showed a blood alcohol concentration of 0.195, more than twice the legal limit. Bethany was cooperative during her arrest, even cracking nervous jokes with the officers. Once in the patrol car, she commented on how she thought the loading dock looked more like a welcome dock rather than something meant to keep her out.
A low dock, but I felt like it was like a Cedar Point, I felt like it was a welcome dock more than a low dock. You know what I mean? I feel like they welcome people more than they don't welcome people.
Are you talking about this loading dock here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not a welcome dock.
No.
She was taken to the local jail, where she was booked for driving under the influence and reckless operation of a vehicle. She nervously asked if her booking photos would be posted online, worried about the consequences. Bethany later pled not guilty to the charges, and her case remains open. This incident serves as a reminder of the dangers of drinking and driving, and how even a moment of impaired judgment can have serious consequences. Drunk driving remains a serious issue, with countless lives at risk on the road. Always find a safe way home and never drive under the influence. A traffic stop unfolds late at night when an officer, detecting signs of impairment, approaches the driver. The officer begins by addressing the smell of alcohol and the driver's glossy eyes, as well as erratic driving and nervous behavior. Calm but firm, the officer asks if the driver has been drinking. The driver admits to consuming alcohol a couple of hours ago and offers to let the officer follow her home, though she seems unsure about her ability to pass a field sobriety test.
I mean, if you want to drive me back to my house, you can call me, I'll go home. That's it.
The officer explains that for safety, they cannot allow her to drive without knowing if she is fit to do so. The driver, growing increasingly nervous, explains her situation, revealing that her mother was a police officer and that she knows the gravity of her actions.
My mom's a cop, so I know it's stupid.
Field sobriety exercises, if you could pass those, I'll let you go to your ex's house, let you go to your friend's house, okay? Or go.
The officer repeatedly offers her the option to take a field sobriety test, reassuring her that if she passes, she would be allowed to go home.
I don't know if I can pass it. Yes, I had a couple drinks, but I don't know if I can pass it. So at this point, you might as well just take me to jail.
Throughout the exchange, the driver struggles with anxiety and expresses regret for driving after drinking. After some deliberation, she agrees to take the field sobriety tests, including walking in a straight line and standing on one leg. Despite her efforts, the driver is unable to perform the test satisfactorily and is arrested. The officer, maintaining professionalism, allows her to call someone to pick up her car and reassures her that her personal belongings will be taken care of. The driver apologizes multiple times, recognizing her mistake, and prepares to face the consequences. The exchange highlights the importance of driving sober and the professionalism of law enforcement in handling sensitive situations.
I just don't want to go to jail in fishnets. Those are in there. They're going to try to get me. I'm too pretty for jail.